I mean, like I said before, I touched on this with Flash. Like, I think this series right here honestly defines the tournament.
Absolutely. We're going to be able to see kind of what the 3.9 update, how it shapes the meta. There were so many balance changes.
Yeah.
It was a short novel.
Yeah,
It was genuinely a short novel. So these teams, with limited amounts of time to try and figure it out, it's going to be really interesting to see how things shape up. We got a few bans on the board. Anka and Churnwalker, who both had several changes to their kits. Churnwalker was nerfed, but this team, at least Tribe, still thinks that he's strong enough to deserve a ban.
Yeah, definitely. I think, of course, when it comes to team play and the best teams in the world, that's where Churnwalker really shines. Like, he likes to get in the mix when everybody's in there, just get in the trenches. Not going to be a problem here today, though. In Kinetic, going to be that first lock-in.
Ace prioritizing a lot of the captains here early on, or both teams, rather. But Tribe, they're going to lock in that Kinetic. I still think that he is the top weapon power bottom laner. I'm definitely expect to be him prioritized all day long here today. Lorelei, definitely a captain that we saw a lot of in 3.8. She is still incredibly potent in 3.9, and from the few scrims I've been able to see, a lot of these teams are placing a ton of emphasis on her.
Yeah, I mean, you see both of these squads placing emphasis on those really heroes that enable team fighting, and she just does it so incredibly well.
Ace grabbing the scarf, what I would expect to be their Crystal Power mid laner. I would be shocked if Tribe doesn't pick up the Celeste for Chuck. Just absolutely signature hero. They're hovering it. They're thinking about it.
Don't tease me.
Don't pull a Pepe.
Please me.
Don't pull a Pepe. Hopefully they
no Pepe.
Hopefully they had their draft strategy figured out beforehand. They're not changing it on the fly. Stick with what you know. You do have to be able to adapt and adjust how the meta kind of shapes up, but I definitely really like to see Chuck on that Celeste.
And it looks like they're kind of hovering over here. We got a Finn. Adagio is the lock-in, and we'll see where this goes. But I mean, Gabe Vizzle, one of the best Adagios of all time. Do you think it goes there?
I'm going to have to say yes, especially for support Adagio in this patch. There are a few different changes. Overall, I think it's a buff. They increased the base damage on Verse of Judgment. Sure, they toned down some of the fortified health that comes along with it, but as a support, that's how you're trying to lead a team fight with that. Force the other team to burn their crucibles so that some of your other heroes are starting to find some of their stuns. Arden, another one of those heroes that I actually think got buffed in Update 3.9. They toned down Crystal Power Arden. Definitely not a thing in North America. Maybe it's a thing over in Asia, but they increased the base damage of Gauntlet. So another, in my opinion, a buff to a Captain Arden.
Yeah, I mean, that's borderline something that you have to take into consideration. Walking through that Gauntlet, maybe something that teams will be a little bit more hesitant to do. You hesitate in a game like this, it can cost you the entire game. Okay, so we have Reza as the next lock-in here. I was thinking, they got to come out with a little bit of burst damage, some quick mobility around the map. There it is.
Very high skill cap hero. You have to be confident in your execution, diving into the back line. Tribe needs to find an answer for how they're going to be able to protect Chuck when Reza gets on top of him. And at the same time, how Chuck needs to be very wary of his positioning, making sure that he's not stepping too far forward.
All right, and now Grumpjaw and the Maline coming in right here at the end. This lineup, this is really real from top to bottom, A to Z. You've got your burst damage, you've got your weapon carry, support's there, disables are there. That's scary.
Definitely getting a little bit more tanky into their lineup. Going to be interesting to see how that kind of shapes out. Right now, Gabe Vizzle's actually on the Gromshot and Max Green's on the Adagio. Do you think that they stay that way? Or do you think that they'll switch once they actually load into the game?
I'd like to see some switching. These
guys
are having some fun with it.
Yeah, there's the switch. All right.
They're serious, but at the same time having a little bit of fun with everybody. And as we get into this is anybody's game.
Absolutely. These two teams, so good. They need to set the tempo, though, in game number 1.
They absolutely do.
So with the draft already done and complete, you guys touched on the patch just a little bit. 3.9 just came out. Some big changes. You said short novel there. I didn't know you were a short novel reader there.
I'm not.
I got
Trust
a coffee.
me, I'm not.
I got a coffee. I started reading it, and then I had to refill the coffee halfway through.
All right, take a look at some of these changes here. The Jungle Monsters laid minions in Vain Crystal. Flash, take it away.
Yeah, jungle monsters are going to have the ambient gold reduced, defense increase. So the tank meta that has defined the jungle for so long, not much of a thing anymore. The lane minions, you have to play a much more active part in the lane. You can't go as far. And the Vein Crystal, taking down those armories, you're not just going to be able to rush the base.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal because we've seen some of these teams historically for the last few seasons. They get in there, they take down an armory, and then it's like, hey, we're going to get some teleport boots, we're going to rush the base. That's not going to be the play style we see.
Can't do that anymore.
All right, now that you've seen the drafts, last thoughts before we kick it to the casters.
I mean, honestly, like, I hope the casters just, give this what it really deserves.
All right, guys, thank you so much. That's all from us here at the desk. Let's kick it on over to the casters. Tasty bacon and everyone's favorite Brit, Munchables. Take it away, boys.
All right, it's time to kick things off here at the VPL World Invitational. Tribe up against Ace, a rematch from last year's World Finals here in 5v5.
Yeah, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. This is a jungle Maline against a jungle Lorelei. 3.9 changes coming through and shaking everything that we knew about Vainglory up.
Yeah, it's got real wacky in the jungle. The mages coming on through, and Flash was talking about it on the desk. You have to have more damage in the jungle now. You have to be able to clear those minions, and the way that people will rotate around the map has changed a little bit as well. We'll see that develop over the course of today. Also, minion candies are going to be a very common word throughout this tournament.
Oh yeah, minion candies are used so frequently because it just makes the wave so difficult to actually clear away when you're 1v, it's like a situation like this, 1v2. You can see how much damage is being done to this turret while there's just not really anything Sweetbox can do, just trying to clear out that wave. He lost almost half this turret's health.
Yeah, he certainly did. I'm super curious about the Scarf pick that we've got in that mid lane. Scarf back in 3.8 really didn't see that much play, but he fits that control mage style. Lots of damage if you can position correctly, but it's the kind of hero that can be punished incredibly hard in the team fights. Here we go though, T-Tigers is caught out. Sweetbox incredibly low as well. He just about gets it. Minions trying to finish it, but he gets away with a kill.
Just barely picking up that first blood, but keep in mind now, first blood, a little bit of increased gold, as well as now the bounties are going to be so impactful. This is one thing that a lot of the players were talking about, is that once you start picking up a few kills, you have to be so careful that you do not give those bounties over to your opponents. However, look at this Max Green. His turret's going to be in a lot of trouble as well. This is very likely going to be first turret falling in favor of Ace. So they're definitely getting all of the early advantages right now.
Yeah, this is looking real good for Ace. They got a kill in the bottom lane. They've got a turret in the top lane. Everything is going well for them. A little bit of a skirmish in that mid lane, but honestly, Chuck and Gabe Bizzle, what a duo. Like, it's difficult to find bigger names in that mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. They play so well together as a duo. But now in this bottom lane, you see it's going to be Old School and T-Tigers again. Very frequently, we're going to see these junglers hanging out with their carries. It's not very much that we see. We often used to see the carries go into the jungle, rotate around with the jungler, but now it's more that the jungler comes down into the lane because of all this extra ambient gold that the lane minions provide.
Yeah, that's the key thing. Less ambient gold in the jungle, more ambient gold in the lane, so it makes a lot of sense to stick with your carry and try and soak some more of that up, but as you can see, they're desperately trying to get some chip damage onto this bottom lane turret because they already lost their top. They need to trade that as fast as possible or they're going to lose control of the map. Oh, Sweetbox just gets away.
Nearly getting themselves the kill there, but that's going to buy them plenty of time to take down this turret for themselves. So Tribe evening up the turret score, but this is just how games go nowadays because you have the lanes kind of swapped where you have the 2v1s on each side. That is actually going to be a very seemingly easy kill there for Ace up in the top lane.
Yeah, I think Max Green holding up his iPad. We'll see if everything's going all Gucci there, but again, the turret's just continuing to be pushed here. And this is the thing, you've got Tassa on Lorelei, you've got Creation on Silvernail. They are going to melt through those turrets.
Yeah, they already take down that tier 2 turret in the lane. Hopefully we can get, the game's going to get paused. There was definitely an issue there with Max Green. Just kind of didn't really try and run away from a 2v1 situation. So hopefully we can get that sorted out quickly and be able to get back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be able to take a look at that. I want to bring up another topic we've not really touched on just yet, is this Adagio. coming on through. I'm so excited to see Gabe Vizzle back on Adagio again. It feels like it's been a long time since we saw him, but yeah, it's just fantastic to see some of these old school picks coming back into the meta.
Yeah, I mean, Adagio was starting to see a little bit of play, even on Update 3.8, as a counter to the weapon Reza, but it was the weapon Adagio that was getting played there. So I was almost expecting to see it actually in the hands of old school, perhaps when they saw that Reza come out, just to try and get that counter set up, but it did go to Gabe Vizzle. We'll see if they can still use that Verse of Judgment as a counter to the Reza, because once Reza dives in, if you can get that stun, he is extremely vulnerable and will go down very quickly if he's not able to dodge that ability out.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the biggest things in this game is going to be these potential CC chains that are available. You know, you've got Adagio can land that stun, you've got Celeste with a stun, Grumpjaw literally can eat people alive, as well as Maline's Root. Tribe, if they can chain some of these abilities together, it's incredibly difficult for an individual player to come out. That's when your Captain's Crucible is going to be, it has to be perfect every fight.
Yeah, we'll see how it's going to play out, because right now, Ace Gaming, again, they're taking the advantages in these lane matchups. They're the ones that are pushing the issue. They've already gotten 2 turrets down in the top lane, and we'll see if that that should now open up the map so that those 2, come on, that's 2 members that were shoving down that top lane. They can now start rotating, join fights in the mid lane, move all the way down to the bottom, and try and just turn the tides of battle in that matchup as well. So it'll be really interesting to see what they decide to do now that they've gotten both of those turrets in the lane destroyed, where they decide to put their resources.
Yeah, and I mean, when we talk about East Asia as a region, the biggest thing that everyone's always talked about is coordination and macro play. The transition from 3v3 to 5v5, it's a larger map, there are more objectives, and there's more opportunity to really abuse that macro style. I think that is the biggest strength that East Asia as a region has, and the biggest strength Ace is going to have coming on into this tournament. And not to mention, they basically put 2 of the top EA teams together to create this super team in 5v5. And so far, in the couple of minutes of gameplay we have seen, they've been looking fantastic.
Yeah, they absolutely have looked dominant in these first few minutes. I mean, this is a team that has just been rolling through their region in pretty much every event that they've played in this year. They have just dominated the rest of East Asia. So obviously very much deserving of this spot and showcasing why they are so deserving of that spot here. Initially, again, this is still very much early game. This can very easily still be turned around for Tribe. It is not, necessarily the end of the game just because you lost out 2 turrets early, lost out a couple kills. Once the team fights start happening, that's where Tribe really can excel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2 kills this early in the game really is not a whole lot. It's the turret up in the top lane that I think is the most significant advantage Ace got, because it means that they can rotate. You can see we've got Sweetbox, we've got Darkvon here in the mid lane as well as Shanna. They're starting to put some pressure on these other lanes. They're starting to rotate around the map and try and force those objectives elsewhere.
Yeah, that's going to be, however, another kill for Ace as they pick up Old School just kind of on his own. The rest of Tribe had all rotated to this mid lane to try and help out, and instead, Ace just says, okay, you rotate 4 people to mid, we'll just go ahead and pick up a kill in the bottom lane. They have fully swapped this lane. They've said, we've taken down the 2 turrets top, let's rotate those same 2 members to this bottom lane and just do the exact same thing.
Yeah, really good presence of mind coming out there from Creation as well. Drops the ward, or the scout camp, over the wall there. Stops Tiggs trying to contest. It's another turret going down, and now Tassa continues to put the pressure on. Look at the damage he's already doing. Old School taking nearly half of his health just from a single A.
Yeah, Lorelei is very, very strong, even on 3.9. And I was interested to see that they didn't ban the Lorelei at all for Ace, because when I was talking to the coach before this event, he said that if there was one hero that he thought was going to be banned every single game, it was Lorelei. They chose not to ban it, but were able to pick it up for themselves, so they must be very happy to be able to get that hero, and you can see why.
I'm surprised Chuck and Gabe didn't push for more there, honestly. Ton of damage down onto both enemy members, but need to rotate down. Help Old School get his weapon buff. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it, though. It was Old School. Picks up the buff in the end. Shanna incredibly low. But Ace going to back away. Oh, the ultimate from downtown. Chuck gets the snipe.
That snipe kill so good from Celeste, and Chuck getting that one kill, like that can just kind of help reset your team's mentality, which is something that I felt like Tribe maybe needed. They were starting to struggle a little bit. They were, losing out on rotations, losing out on objectives, but even just getting one kill like that and securing the jungle objective can do so much for your team's mentality.
And this is the point where the game changes. You can see Tribe completely grouped now. The laning phase is essentially over at 7 minutes. They're like, okay, we're not winning these individual skirmishes. We're not winning the 1v1s. Let's group. Let's use the synergy that we have as all veteran players and force some team fights.
Yeah, they know they don't have the Celeste ult or the Adagio ult for another minute or so. See, Tribe, maybe we're trying to set up a Ghost Wing, but that's going to be a beautiful gauntlet coming on down. Not going to allow them to secure any kills, but Max Green is isolated from the rest of the team. Dodges out the stun, but he's just completely stuck. Again, they were able to split up the team and find themselves that kill.
Yeah, good stuff coming out from Ace there. Really, really nice gauntlet. Lands from Darklon, splits up the entire Tribe roster, and it just means Ace are able to collapse onto Max Green, able to find themselves that kill. And it opens up the map for them. Suddenly you see, once that fight is done, Tribe have to back off. They no longer control that river area, and Ace will drop a ton of scout cramps across that, clear out any Tribe vision, and make sure that they're set up for potential dragons.
T-Tigers has a massive wave of minions down here with him, but see Tasa, he's just going to come on down and clear this out pretty quickly. Interesting to see that it's, T-Tigers and Tasa, both the ones dealing with this lane, as they are the junglers. But again, when you need to get gold onto those carries, you just go ahead and send them into the lane, get that little bit of extra gold that the minions provide.
Yeah, you certainly got to get these lanes pushing though, because when we look at these two team compositions, it's not surprising that we've not seen tons and tons of action in this early game, because consider the junglers we have, consider the mid laners we have. These are scaling mages. Both of these teams looking for those late game fights. It's going to be Ghostwing picked up by Ace though. The Tribe just not really able to find the fight. It looked like they wanted to force something there, but not really able to find an engage.
Yeah, they were trying to get the steal. The abilities came out just a little too late to actually secure that dragon away. So with the Ghostwing buff now, Ace, again, they're going to be the ones that are in the driver's seat. They're going to be the ones that are feeling confident and making their way towards more objectives in the lane. We are going to get another pause, however. Hopefully we can, again, get this sorted quickly and figure out what the issue is.
Yeah, a couple of technical hiccups, but we'll get them all ironed out, and the rest of the day should be just about all right. But so far, it has to be said, Ace Gaming are looking pretty great. They managed to get themselves to Ghostwing. They were winning the lane matchups. They were winning the early game. Tribe got a fantastic team fight for themselves, but then suddenly Ace kind of readjusted, and they're back on top again.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be a tablet swap there for Max Green, so still having some lingering issues there. Hopefully, again, you'd never want to see a game get decided by someone having technical difficulties, so we're going to do everything we can to make sure that all 10 of these players are comfortable and in a position where they are going to be able to perform to the best of their abilities. That obviously has not been the case thus far for Tribe, and it has certainly shown.
Yeah, and you can see the faces of Ace versus the faces of Tribe right now. Very much kind of stony faces on the side of Tribe. The start of this tournament hasn't been perfect for them, especially with a team like this that they're used to dominating. When Tribe wins, they're pretty much on top. And when we look back to WSG though, things didn't start so great for them in the finals. They still managed to get on top. This is not a team that you can ever count out.
Yeah, this is a team that can certainly overcome adversity, and if they fall down early in a series or in a tournament, they can very much turn it around and come back strong. So, even if they do end up falling in this first game, that's not going to be a given that game 2 will go the same way. It's not even a given that they won't, even if they drop this series, that they won't be able to turn it around in the losers bracket and end up in the finals once again. So definitely this team that you can never count them out from any situation.
You certainly cannot. I mean, the same can be said from Ace. Like, when we saw them in the finals of their region, when we saw them in the EAVPL, they finished things off with a bang. They were 2-1 up in the series, and they were losing to Rox Armada. It looked like it was going to go the full 5 games, and they make this ridiculous play. 2 players hold everyone off. Yates ults into the base, and they just force the rush on the Vayne Crystal. However, Vayne Crystal's been buffed up a little bit, so that might not work as well now.
Yeah, and take a look at some of the items now. We're getting, some second tier 3 items on a lot of these heroes. A lot of sustain is the name of the game. You have a Serpent's Mask on 2 members of Tribe. You have the Eve of Harvest on Chuck, but then you look across the board at what the itemization has been for Ace Gaming, and very different strategy coming through. No Eve of Harvest, no Serpent's Mask. They're not really focusing on the sustain in these fights. It's all about the burst damage.
It really is. That has been every single fight so far this game has been pretty much somebody gets caught. We've not had any very clean team fight victories. It's been a single kill on either side. So very much about just bursting someone down, chaining that CC like we were talking about earlier. But let's just take a moment here and appreciate the fact we have Creation here on Silvernail. Creation is a mechanical genius. This guy is a god, right? On Silvernail, one of the most difficult heroes in the game, but one of the most rewarding heroes in the game. Yep. If you can play him correctly, his damage output is obscene. When you get to the later stages, you have to worry about how this Tribe roster is going to be able to get onto that backline and deal with him.
Yeah, I mean, he did have a little bit of a nerf coming into 3.9. His weapon ratio basically completely taken off of the caustic shot, but it's that wasn't really where the main source of his damage came from. So I was actually surprised to see that Tribe put the emphasis on getting this kinetic when Old School is one of the best Silvernail players that we've seen. I was really expecting Silvernail to be the priority carry for the bottom lane, but obviously they wanted to get this kinetic. They wanted to get that a little bit more consistent stun that Kinetic can provide, as opposed to Silvernail, who needs to be able to hit that ultimate either into a wall or into a stake. But the silences from Silvernail, I think, is what really sets him apart. The fact that if you're standing on one of those stakes that are connected, you just can't do anything.
The zone control that he offers it's just obscene, honestly. But I do like the Kinetic pick. I mean, I think these are quite comfortably the 2 strongest weapon power carries currently in the game, and I think the reason that you would go with a Kinetic over that Silvernail is the fact that you have a little bit more mobility yourself. If you're not able to get those stakes set up on the Silvernail, you will go down in a split second, whereas Kinetic, just a little bit more survivability on that side.
Black Claw landing now as we are 12 minutes into this game, and immediately Ace are on this objective. I don't think Tribe has any idea that this is even happening. They're all waiting for Ace to come and make a play for Ghostwing, and that's just going to be Black Claw unleashed completely for free.
This is huge news for Ace Gaming. They managed to just sneak that objective, and Tribe don't have time to respond with the Ghostwing. They were in position to just trade the Drakes, but they didn't know it was going on. We've been talking about Ace's macro play, and they have already, just 12 minutes into the tournament, proven that they absolutely have it on lock. Getting a turret in the top lane. Blackwind's pushing in, or Black Claw, sorry, is pushing in the middle lane. This is already looking dicey for Tribe.
Yeah, Tribe had no idea that the Black Claw was going on because they were waiting for a push on Ghostwing. They were waiting for Ace to show up and try and get a fight there. And instead, Ace grabbed the Black Claw, go and take an objective top because they say, hey, we know that you're on the bottom side of the map. We can just push in top and then join Black Claw in the mid lane. This has been really well played from Ace and Tribe. They're just kind of stuck trying to respawn, and their rotations just have not been fast enough.
Yeah, when you consider, we were already talking about the fact that these carries are very late game carries on both sides, but Ace have that gold advantage. Ace have that map control advantage, and they are abusing that, not allowing Chuck to get to that kind of 4-item God Mode Celeste, not allowing that late game scenario to happen so far.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Chuck, he's sitting on 2 items, is getting close to his 3rd, but it's still going to be a while before anyone on the side of Tribe is able to get that 3rd item completed, whereas you look at, Creation on the Silvernail, he is just about there. He only needs like another 500 gold or so, and he'll be able to finish off his 3rd item of the game. And so it's just really a tough spot for Tribe to be in. But another thing we have to talk about is look at the build coming out from Reza, going for the hybrid Reza. I don't think we've ever actually seen this before.
Well, I've seen it in solo queue, my friend, but I haven't seen it in 3.9. I can certainly believe that it would be strong, the percent damage available. We'll see how it's going to work out for him, because Sweetbox, typically we've seen Reza in more of a split push role, but right now it feels like he's gonna have to go into these team fights because Ace are not looking to split push. They're looking to fight, as based on what we've seen so far today.
this is actually pretty good for the side of Tribe. They're getting these stakes kind of burned, which means you're not going to be able to have this massive team fight setup, but they once again have to give up their positioning on Ghostwing to clear out that minion wave mid, and it's going to be tough for them to fight back for this spot. One of them has to, be this frontline tank. That's going to be Maleen taking up brunt of damage.
Gauntlet goes down, but it was cancelled in the last second right there. Nice ult comes out from Gabe Vizzle, but it's a first kill going the way of Ace. The Scarf ultimate is burning everybody to a crisp. Another kill goes their way. East Asia are going to take a huge team fight and a straight 5 kills.
5 kills for Ace. An ace for Ace. And this could very well be the game. They already have one of these armories down. They're going to get the second one. They have 20 seconds on a lot of these death timers. I don't know if it'll necessarily be enough, but if they can find another kill inside this base,
they might just be able to do this right now. They're going for the armory. They're going to try and force the end of the game. This is such a quick victory. 15 minutes on the clock, and it looks like they're going to be able to do it. The respawns come through, but it's too little too late. And Team Ace are going to take the first game of the VPL World Invitational.
Incredible macro performance out of Team Ace. This is what we expected from them. We knew that this was a team that was going to be able to rotate. They studied this game more than just about anyone else in the world. A little bit of an asterisk has to go next to this one because of the issues that Max Green was having early on, but we'll see if they can come back in game number 2. Tribe Gaming needs to figure out some way to deal with this rotational play from Ace.
Yeah, I mean, 15-minute victory. Let's just take a moment to appreciate how quick of a win this was coming out from Ace. This wasn't just a win. This was a masterclass. I'm going to kick it back over to the analyst desk to break down game number 1.
Thank you very much, Munch. Sub 16-minute victory here for our East Asian champs, Team Ace, and they kind of just steamrolled through this game very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like they got the first 2 kills of the game, and they really never looked back. Even Blacklaw off spawn there, it was pretty phenomenal.
Setting the tempo, not hesitating. They came here not to mess around. They did a good job just setting the tempo from game number 1.
They're 1 win away from moving on to the winners finals. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll break down the action and get into game 2. Don't touch that browser. Is your mic plugged in, brother?
Me?
No, flash. Mic. Oh, your button's off. There you go.
Did you do that?
No.
The troll?
Sweet box.
Sweet box.
Sweet box.
Let's talk about the build.
Yeah.
오케이, 궁 들어가. 나이스.
That final major team fight that solidified the victory here in the first match of the VPL World Invitational for Team Ace. And they just kind of rolled through that game there, didn't they?
I mean, really no surprises here after making our predictions, you know, for good reason.
Okay. Noah hasn't played yet. All right, that was just game number 1.
Just warming it up. I mean, maybe sandbagging a little bit. We'll see how it's all going to play. I was really impressed, though. I think everybody, like, for real, super impressed with that playstyle. Like, it seemed like they were just like, here's what we want to do. Let's do it.
Definitely. Really the vanilla Eastern Asian strategy where they play so passive, so calm, collected. They scale throughout the entirety of the game, turn it on late game.
And not only that, like T-Tigers and the rest of Tribe Gaming fed over the first 3 or 4 kills to Team Ace, and it just kind of snowballed out of control. And yes, they had the opportunity to play passive, and we know that Tribe Gaming last year was all about the early aggression. They weren't able to do that this time.
Yeah. I mean, things have definitely been shaken up. Of course, you know, we got patch changes, but the teams are playing differently. It's a whole new game.
Absolutely. Sweetbox stepping it up big time in that last game. And he went with a build that I don't know that I've ever seen before. The hybrid on Reza with the spell sword and the Aftershock, putting in so much work, able to dive into the backline on that last team fight.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to pick his mind about this build. I think it's the first time that we've seen that combination together. But we know he had that cooldown reduction. He had a little bit of on-hit proc. And then in between with that spell sword, it just means he was there to chunk through and apply some damage. And it really worked. I mean, as soon as we saw it, we were like, wait, what is that little crystal item down there? But it was really cool.
Yeah, super interesting. We said it before the game, like Chuck needed to have an answer to that on Celeste and these squishy backline carries. Yeah. They didn't really have any peel for him. He couldn't do anything, and Sweetbox did a phenomenal job punishing him for it.
So on that line, we're getting a lot of love over to Team Ace. What does the world champs got to do to come back on their feet, Tribe Gaming? What's the way back? Because it seemed like they kind of picked whatever they wanted. Now they have the opportunity to adjust.
I would say play confidently. They didn't look confident in their movements around the map. Yeah, sure, like if you feed over the first couple of kills of the game, even getting first blooded sometimes will make you play a little bit hesitant. But you're here at the World Invitational, and you can't hold back. You hold back against a team like Ace, and they're going to be like, okay, well, let's set up because I see them down on the bottom side of the map, or let's go to Blacklaw on spawn, let's take it. And maybe Tribe's just not thinking the same thing. They're playing a little more passive. One thing you mentioned, Chuck, I never saw Chuck get into position,
right.
And I'm not saying it's his fault, but the team never formulated, you know, we're talking to Daniel, this is how they want to kind of approach this fight. This Flare up front, this guy right behind him, Gabe controlling it with Chuck kind of just zoning out and staying in the back line. They never actually got into position as a team.
It's hard. Yeah, no, I mean, given those compositions especially, so hard to do. They just don't have the peel. Chuck's playing too squishy of a backline mage, and they really can't do anything about it.
So it sounds like you want them to change the composition, not stay with the same one, play it better. What are you looking for in terms of one of the big switches here?
Personally, I think that they've got to take the Reza off the table. They did a good job taking the Anka off the board. Take the Reza off the board because Celeste is Chuck's comfort pick. He's so good at playing Celeste. They need to take those dive heroes off the table so that Chuck can do what he's known for, what he's so good at if they want to find success here in game number 2.
I feel like they did have a little bit of control, and like we mentioned how Grumpjaw, maybe he can eat somebody that you're gonna go ahead and team fight through that or reposition them. You had the Adagio who could throw out a verse and a choke point, look to control that, but it wasn't enough. On the other side, you had Gauntlet to come down, you had Splash down, you had Goop on the ground. You're slow, you don't know if you can move through the wall. They need something like that. I'm not saying Lance is the answer, but something like Lance's kit where they can do a little bit of peeling, some engaging, something that can be that engage or kind of peel for that squad.
Yeah, this gotta feel good for this Team Ace Gaming, specifically Tassun Creation, who was on that world finalist position last year in 3v3. Now this transition to 5v5, a little bit of rough roads ahead here for Tribe Gaming as we get ourselves ready for the second match of this series. Can Tribe answer it? We'll find out as we get into the draft.
Ace has the tempo and momentum. They take Lyra off the board for the second game here in a row now. Lyra may be one of those dominant captains in this 3.9 meta.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it's going to play out. Right now, Lyra is going to be a non-factor. And do you think we see Lyra played in like carry position here in this match?
Possibly. I mean, we definitely did as a mage in update 3.8, but I'm almost thinking as I watch this, Ace knows that they want to be able to dive the backline. Pyra's one of the best heroes appealing. She puts out that bright bulwark. Resident Auga can't go through it.
Thou shalt not pass.
So taking that off the board and forcing Tribe to pick some other heroes for peeling, very interesting to see.
Yeah, also Lorelei off the board here, just adding so much to the kit. Water wall, splashdown. You know, fish. You land a fish food, that has some impact. But for me, water wall is such an amazing ability. It's like, oh, you're diving on my hyper carry? Well, no, you're not.
Not today, you say. Ace, I mean, compositions aside, we gotta talk about how good they were at controlling objectives for the entirety of the last game. They went from turret to turret to turret to Blackclaw to turret and just constantly roaming and rotating as 5, making sure they're focusing the correct things all the right times. Before Blackclaw even spawned, they were over there set up with scout cams, having a ton of vision control, and that was very hard for Tribe to deal with. And they need to find an answer to that too.
I mean, no shots fired like at any of these other teams that are here, but one of the reasons that I went for Ace was because they were so focused. Like, when I first saw them, like, of course, you know, I'm gonna go up and I'm like, hey guys, it's so nice to see you, it's been a long time, and we got some hugs and stuff, but Ace was just like, yo, we're actually playing a game right now, so like, we need to keep focusing.
Absolutely. Ace grabbing that kinetic as their first pick. Tribe quickly answering with the Adagio, so they are gonna stick with what they did before. Adagio is still a very strong hero, like I said, a little bit of buffs, and they're gonna grab the Celeste so early on. That's very surprising. I don't know if necessarily that's going to be the right move for Tribe, because there are still so many dive heroes left on the table for Ace to pick up.
So I'm going to just devil's advocate on that, Flash. I know, like, you've been a draft genius for a long time here. I mean, that's how I always looked at it. I thought you were, you know, a step ahead of your opponent. But at the same time, you know, like, you always have the ability to bait things out of your opponents with a strong pickup like that early in the game. You still will put Chuck on this hero that he's super comfortable with, and then look to maybe get something that can control the fights a little bit better. No?
It's tough. It's tough, right?
I'm trying.
Yeah, clearly, I mean, Chuck, just renowned Celeste player. I don't know that I ever have been a huge proponent of comfort picks. I'm very much an adamant believer in you need to stick to the meta, you need to learn the meta, you need to master the meta. That being said, 3.9 is so fresh and so new. Maybe these players haven't had a lot of time to adjust to what these meta changes have been. I'm sure Chuck has been playing a lot of Celeste in ranked queue, finding success with it, and maybe that led them to believe that it's going to be successful here. Samuel, though, for Ace, that's a pick that I feel like we have not seen in a very long time, and definitely back in his heyday was just an absolute monster.
An absolute monster indeed. I'm really excited as soon as I saw that pick come out here. I'm really curious to see how it's going to play out. When Samuel's on the board, every time like you're in the zone, somebody's going to be eating a Malice Inverted. The question is that going to be splashing with the Drifting Dart, or is someone just taking that to the face?
Definitely going to be interesting indeed. Ace picking up the Arden. I like that pick a lot, especially against the Reza. That's the peel that I really feel like Tribe needs. Tribe still doesn't have an answer for some of these.
What about this Flicker, though? How does that play out?
Flicker, definitely, I think it's going to allow Tribe to be the aggressors in this matchup. They're going to be the ones still looking to get involved. Churnwalker, though, going all the way through.
Wow.
The last pick coming out of Ace. We saw him nerfed a little bit. I actually think Celeste is one of those carries that does exceptionally well against Churnwalker, because she can stand so far back. Tribe going to be locking in the Silvernail. That's got to be on old school there for their last pick.
Yeah, Silvernail comes through at the end, so that's going to be your weapon carry coming through. Pretty balanced lineups on both sides. I think the question mark for me, like you know, I threw it just at you, is that Flicker. What's going to happen there? I'm actually kind of surprised to see it picked up after the Samuel, because Samuel can just so easily and freely hang out, but outside of a brush, just throwing in his Malice and Verdicts, and if you're in there, you're going to get hit with it.
In 3.8, Mooncloak was so strong. You had so much time to either set up, disengage, engage, whatever it may be. 3.9, that got reduced. These teams don't have as much time to try and work with. It's still a very, very strong ability. It's going to allow them to do a bunch of different things, but it's going to be interesting to see how it gets executed.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like in the draft, Tribe kind of adjusted their draft and kind of panicked to what originally started with Team Ace. And now Team Ace just got a bunch of power picks that slid all the way through, including that Churnwalker at the very last, I guess the 9th pick roll. That's massive. Quick thoughts. What do you think what do you think will be? Who do you think won the draft in this quick last segment?
It's hard. If I'm gonna say who won the draft, maybe goes to Ace, but just barely.
All right, Munch and Bacon, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. We're into game number 2 here. Ace up against Tribe in the draft. Changing dramatically as we head on in, but Chuck and Gabe still those same old faithful picks.
Yeah, definitely a lot of changes in the draft for game number 2. We'll see if the gameplay is any different because last game we had only one real team fight. But this time around, both of these compositions are incredibly strong team fighting comps. So we'll see if which of these teams is going to be the one that tries to force the issue and tries to make those team fights happen.
Yeah, now there are 2 major things in this draft that I'm going to be looking out for during this game. First of all, Tassa. His Lorelei was banned away. We saw him dominating in game number 1, controlling the map completely. Now he's on Anchor, even more aggressive. We'll see if that works out. Oh, Creation's caught though. He could be in trouble here. He's going to go down for the first kill of the game. Max Green might just be traded. Tassa doing his best, but he's not going to be able to grab it.
And interesting to note here that we have both teams putting 2 members in the bottom lane. This is something I've actually wanted to see in Vainglory ever since 5v5 was announced. Like having it so that you have the 2v2 and then a 1v1 lane on the map as well, instead of the constant 2v1s. Yeah. I think this is actually a really smart adjustment by Tribe, because on B side, they are the ones that have put 2 members in what is effectively their top lane for their perspective. And doing this is so smart because it now prevents that really quick push that we saw Ace pull off in game number 1.
It forces the 2v2. It says, look, you won the 2 side lanes last time around. We got to change the pace. We got to change things up here. So far, it's working out wonderfully for them because they got that first kill of the game. Old School might just turn it into a second kill as well. The slows are there. The damage, one more attack, and T-Tigers snags another.
T-Tigers helping to set up both of these kills. They get the 1 kill from Max Green in the bottom lane, then say, okay, let's send the Flicker up to the top and get ourselves a second kill up there. And this could be the way that T-Tigers plays this. On this Flicker, you have so much movement speed going into the brushes and just running around the map. You can be in so many lanes. And, it almost feels like you're in multiple lanes at once sometimes with how quickly this Flicker can rotate, and immediately Tribe taking the first turret of this game, most likely.
Oh, Sweetbox wants to at least get a kill for his trouble. In the meantime, it's going to be Tassa diving under the tower to grab himself a kill. Sweetbox bit off more than he could chew, though. It's going to be Ace grabbing the first turret of the game.
First turret of the game going down up in that top lane in favor of Tribe. Very different start to this game than what we saw in game number 1, but now the turret's going to be traded very quickly, as it was a sticking to 2 members in this bottom lane. Tassa and Creation going to be evening up the turret score. Max Green needs to be careful when he comes back in here, because again, that 2v1 with the turret going down, they could have easily just maybe stuck around, tried to look for another kill, but without having a lot of energy on Tassa, they are going to make the decision to recall.
I think correct decision made right there. Honestly, right now, things are looking so much better for Tribe than they did in game number 1. The fact that they're ahead in gold is phenomenal, but even just the fact that they're not behind is a huge step in the right direction, because what happened in game number 1 was Ace get the first turret and just turret trade for the rest of the game. They're just one step ahead macro-wise. This time they can't do that same game plan. T-Tigers, though, trying to get a solo kill on Flicker right now. Old School going to be able to get that silence going down. Darkmon taking a bit of damage.
Yeah, that base damage on Flicker wasn't touched at all in 3.9. The only change Flicker was 4 seconds taken off the Mooncloak, as FlashX alluded to on the desk. But you see how much, again, that massive minion wave up there. They're going to be looking to try and take this turret, if not get some damage onto the 2 members of Ace that are trying to defend. No minion candy for that wave, though. That would have been, if there was a minion candy on that, likely would have been maybe a kill or 2 and a turret. So a little unfortunate situation there for Tribe to not have that item available at the time.
Yeah, Dragon Blood contract as well coming out for T-Tigers. You know that they're trying to be aggressive. They've realized that that's what Ace did in game number 1. They're like, we have to meet them toe to toe. We have to go fighting claw and nail. We'll see if they're going to be able to make this one happen. And Ace very much have slowed the pace of their game down in reaction to that.
Yeah, and it's a very smart reaction, I feel, because if you do lose out on an objective early on, You want to just kind of bring that pace down, force the enemy team to have to play a little bit safer, a little bit further back, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're just rotating as a unit so that they can make sure that their lanes stay safe, sending help to the lanes that really need it. And now you've got Tasa able to kind of hold his own against Max Green in the bottom lane, so that frees up Creation to start roaming around, but they see a potential opportunity, and we got almost the entire team rotating towards this bottom side of the map.
Looking forward to seeing what Shanna builds on this Samuel in the mid lane. It's something that was kind of a sleeper pick in 3.8. It was actually pretty good, but not quite that S tier, not quite worth getting in those competitive drafts. But now that he's locked that into the mid lane, obviously up against the Celeste, you kind of both want to go to the late game. He's not going to feel too much pressure during the laning phase. He can go for things like potentially that Dragon's Eye that you classically remember back in 3v3, that broken myth Samuel that would stack over the fight and then clear up afterwards. Maybe looking for that same kind of playstyle.
Yeah, and we did see the second turret go down in the bottom lane, but Tribe answered at pretty much the exact same time with the second turret in the top lane. Mooncloak is going to get popped. They're looking for someone to be out of position around this Ghost Claw, but the scout cam will actually spot them out. So Tasa able to get that advanced warning and make his way to the safety of the turret.
And that is the biggest thing you have to compliment Ace on so far in this tournament, is their vision control has been absolutely exceptional. You just can't catch them out of position because they always know where you are. They're always one step ahead. Shanna going to be able to dodge away from those Helios. This Tribe just have to kind of regroup, just back away. They tried to make the Mooncloak play, didn't work out. Now they have to reset.
Yeah, and it's a long cooldown on that Mooncloak as well early on, but here comes Sweetbox looking to make a play perhaps with this Gauntlet.
It's 5v4 right now because we've got Reza on the sideline. He's on his way up though. Sweetbox goes in. He's been kind of caught out a little bit here. Is Max Green going to join the fray? And I think the fact that they walked into Sweetbox just completely diffused that for Ace.
Yeah, it made it a... they didn't have the advantage anymore. They didn't have that element of surprise, so they kind of just had to back away. But both teams, again, neither of them really committing to trying to go all in that current situation. They both know that neither team's feeling confident enough to go for that all-in fight, and that's one of the signature traits of both of these squads, is that they don't look for these team fights unless they are 100% positive they are going to win that team fight and get something from it.
Yeah, very much you expect these teams to be calculating their fights, like figuring out, do we actually win this one? Do we have a way of shutting down their win conditions? Ace say yes we do as they start off Ghost Wing. Oh my goodness, second time today. Shanna has been caught a little bit though. Could be in trouble here, but he's going to get some help on the Samuel. All that was required though was a contest. All he has to do is throw out 2 abilities and he's back to full health. So not really too much of an issue there, but it was Tribe getting some good pressure onto this turret. This is what we saw Ace doing in game number 1. They kind of positioned themselves to try and get around this Ghost Wing and then say, you know what, while you're getting yourselves positioned, we're just going to shove a turret, force you to have to move away from that objective, and then we can take it ourselves. Tribe wasn't quite able to do that here. They were able to pull them away from that Ghost Wing, though, and that prevents the objective from going down. Certainly does. I'm excited to see the later stages of this game because, Ace realized they don't have the tempo in the early game, and they've very much just kept everyone at arm's length now. They try to make a play onto Ghost Wing, but realize Tribe are going to contest. They don't commit to a fight. They don't commit to the objective. They were just testing. It worked in game 1 with the Black Claw. They're like, let's see if we can get free objective. If they fight, we back away. And that means that we're going to start to see this game go towards the later stages. We're actually going to see some real 5v5 team play.
Cloak once again going to get used here, trying to scout out any opponents, but instead it's just going to be Tribe starting up this Ghost Wing as they have the opportunity. They see that there's not really going to be much of an answer from Ace Gaming, Team Ace, excuse me, other than this turret getting traded. But once they saw 2 members in the top lane, they said, we have the advantage, let's get ourselves this objective, and now we'll see what they can do with the Ghost Wing buff on the side of Tribe.
Yeah, really nice trade though coming out from Ace. They do manage to get the top lane turret at least, so it's not just a 0 for 1. They are going to trade objectives, and yeah, it's kind of, if there is a team fight in the next couple of minutes, Tribe definitely get the edge in that trade. But if not, if nothing comes from that Ghost Wing, that's very much a favorable trade for Ace. They've just got a tiny bit more map control.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see if Tribe are going to either force a fight or look to push down an objective, because obviously that's the whole point of the Ghost Wing buff, is that you have extra damage that you do to structures. But right now it's just Ace doing a really good job of pushing in these waves so that Tribe doesn't have the opportunity to get onto any of these structures.
Just trying to deny everything right now, trying to stop these pushes. There's decent wave clear on the side of Ace right now as well, so they should be able to delay these pushes. Chuck actually going to be pulled in versus Judgment, comes on through onto Sweetbox. They've got the turret. They're just going to walk away with that one comfortably.
Yeah, so that's, again, the power of the Ghostwing. There's going to be boots used by both sides. Trespass will get blocked Crucible nicely once again. Both of these captains, I mean, we know these guys are exceptional at these Crucible timings. It's going to be very tough to have any of these initial team-wide crowd controls actually land.
Yeah, you see, like, Gabe knows the split second those boots came out from Darklon, he was like, there's an ult coming this way. I know this is going. You can't fool me. Gets the Crucible down. Nice, clean play. And that's one of the things Gabe Vizzle has always been known for, is his clean Crucibles. He never misses.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play around with this timing, because again, it's a long time that Crucibles are down. Both teams did just use theirs fairly recently, so there's always that big window of opportunity, 70 seconds or so, that you have to try and then land another big stun in that time. And both teams kind of backing off once again. This has kind of been the story of these games, is that there's not a lot of team fighting going on between these two. They don't really put themselves in positions to get caught out for a full-on team fight.
Every single team fight, in inverted commas, every single team fight this game, it's been a test, right? It's been someone wants to push an objective and the other team has to contest just a little bit. They can't just concede the map. So it's been like a little back and forth, but no full committal.
It's almost like a game of chicken of, oh, we're going to go in, we're going to use this as a big ability, start up a team fight. Are you willing to answer it? Are you willing to throw out your big abilities in return and see if we can get something going here? But thus far, neither side has been willing to full-on commit.
They certainly haven't, but things are looking a lot better for Tribe. Here we go, Mooncloak. This could be an opportunity. But it's so difficult. I think one of the biggest things is if you're going to try and engage with that Mooncloak, you're going into an Ardent. It's so difficult to force a 5v5 into an Ardent because that Gauntlet, it's such a good engage tool, it's also such a good disengage tool. Yep. You have to be able to stop that ability somehow.
Here we go, Ghostwing was being started. There's the Gauntlet going down. It's going to get a couple of stuns, but now the team fight is going on. Finally, we get a full-on team fight. Tons of damage being dealt to Ace. It's actually a 1-for-1 thus far, but now that's going to be Tribe cleaning up a few more kills.
Here we go, North America looking good in this one. Chunwalker dishing out a bit of spread damage, but it's just not enough. He's got no follow-up from his team. Darklon is going to fall on that one, and Ace are going to drop. Tribe finally win a team fight.
That was absolutely silly how long it took 4 members to take down a single Churnwalker. The amount of sustain that hero has, along with the tanky items being built. But it is a team fight win. It is going to be this Ghostwing, but now Ace want to have something to say about this.
Yeah, they're not giving up just yet. We do have a anchor there, but Tassa just not willing to commit with his teammate. Oh, he's got the dagger over. He wants the steal. He's going to go in for it. Here we go. Tassa trying to make the plays.
He actually got the Ghostwing.
Oh, my days.
Tassa taking the Ghostwing will end up going down at the end, but look at how low Tribe is. They're getting melted here. Great ultimate from Reza to prevent the ultimate from Kinetic from taking him down, but that looked so clean for Tribe, and then all of a sudden, just enough time was bought by Tassa for the rest of the team to come through.
I cannot believe he pulled that one off. We know Tassa as a playmaker goes in. I thought he was going to change and go for the kills because it had too much health. The ultimate, one of their clones managing to grab it on the way out. Phenomenal stuff. Unbelievably clutch play, and that is going to keep Ace in contention.
Absolutely. If that hadn't worked out for Ace, if they just picked up that kill on Anka as soon as she jumps over into the Dragon Pit, this starts to become snowballing very heavily in favor of Tribe. But because not only did he steal the Dragon, but he forced Tribe to take so much time because they didn't want to commit to bursting down the Dragon with the threat of Tassa coming over the wall. They took so much extra damage from Ghostwing that the rest of the team was able to come through, respawn, and clean up a few more kills.
An important thing to mention is look at Max Green's build comparatively to what we saw in game number 1. Sweetbox went for this kind of hybrid. He went for Aftershock Spellsword. Max Green going full AP. He's got that classic assassin resin.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be looking to jump onto those backlines. They need that. It's really looking to take down Creation on this kinetic. It feels like, but that's going to be some boots used. A lot of damage being dished out to Max Green. Uses the ultimate, but is going to be able to survive as a result of that. Now here's the rest of Tribe, though. Looking to catch out these two members of Ace.
They are going to be able to do so. Creation goes down. Gauntlet to try and disengage, but a nice Crucible. Tassa feeling the damage right now as Shanna just trying to zone away. They are going to be able to get the rest of the members out, but it's a really nice collapse from Tribe. They see the overextension of Max Green, and they punish it heavily.
You need to be careful. Max Green a little low as they start up this Black Claw. Ace can very easily jump in here if they want to, although they don't have the a couple of crucial ultimates. They do still have that Trespass available, so keep your eyes on that. Chuck going down very low, so is Max Green, but they're going to be continuing this fight. That's Anka finding the kill on the Chuck. The chains from Turnwalker spreading damage everywhere as Tassa is melting them.
This is going to be an Ace coming out. This is not quite the Pentagon stolen away. Scumbag Creation, but a huge team fight for Ace.
It was such a risky call to go for this Ghost Wing. Max Green was already on about a quarter health, and it was still 4 members of Ace at full health that they went in with. That was just, I don't understand this decision from Tribe to go for that objective there.
Yeah, and look at Creation. While his team does the Black Claw, he's prepping this lane. He's going to take as many turrets as possible. Obviously, the explosion from the turrets does a lot of damage to Black Claw, but if you can take him down first, no worries whatsoever. He's even got the fire animation to guarantee that.
Yeah, that's going to be that first turret down, or second turret, I guess we should say, in the lane, but first turret with this Black Claw push. Now Tribe are on the back foot. This is the second dragon they've had taken away from them. But now can they get any damage on here? Max Green again going extremely low. Mooncloak getting used, but the Samuel just completely gets vision on all of them as they try and run in.
Yeah, the Drifting Dog just towards them, just cleaves through everyone, removes the Mooncloak, removes that engage opportunity. They're not going to be able to get an armory from this push, but Ace are going to be happy regardless, right? They got 3 turrets in the mid lane off of that push.
Yeah, and now they can immediately go for this Ghost Wing as well. There's nothing that Tribe can do to stop this objective take other than the Celeste ultimate. That's
it got
nerfed.
A little early. Got nerfed. You can't just steal those objectives anymore. The Solar Storm did get... It didn't get nerfed in general, but the damage to neutral objectives did get nerfed. So you can't get those steals as easily. It has to be pinpoint perfect.
Got nerfed pretty heavily as well. It's a lot of... I think it was like 20%, I think, of damage is done
it was
now.
Definitely, it was a big nerf coming out. So Chuck not going to be able to go for those cross-map steals in the same way we're used to. But when you take a look at the scoreboard right now, things are so even. Just 2,000 gold between these two teams. 9-9 on the scoreboard. There's been a killer minute so far across this match. But after Tribe had been in control basically the whole time, Ace, all off the back of Tassa's steal, have suddenly found themselves in a commanding position.
It's been a kill a minute, but you also got to keep in mind about 15 of these came in the last 5 minutes or so. It has been, again, once these team fights started happening, it's kind of what we expected. We talked about it at the start of this game. It's 2 team fight heavy compositions. It was just going to be a question of who was going to be pulling the trigger first, who was going to be looking for those team fight engages. Initially, it looked like it was Tribe that were getting the upper hand, but just a few moments later, all of a sudden, Ace turning each of these around.
Tassa has been absolutely rolling through these games so far. Look at his score right now. 5-1-4 on the Anchor. Had an amazing game 1 on the Lorelei. Didn't need a good score because they finished it before 16 minutes into the game.
Nearly had himself a pentakill. Mooncloak being used. They're going to get the engage onto Darklon. See how much damage they can get onto this Turnwalker, but he's just going to be able to heal up. Gauntlet goes down. That's going to be a lot of damage onto the Flicker, and he is already down.
Look at this fight. It's going the way of Ace so far, but they're surviving in the back line. It's all going to be about Old School. Trying to finish things off, but there goes Tassa. It's another double kill for him. Chuck has nowhere to run as Max Green just has to bail out of the fight. Even the last second shield to keep Creation alive. Ace Gaming well and truly in control.
It has just been so difficult for Tribe to actually get the full-on engages. You see the one member that went back actually just teleports back on in.
This could be game.
So that they could look to end this game with just Max Green here to defend. I don't think he's going to be able to do enough. And Ace are going to take the 2-0 win in our first series of the day. Joe, What an incredible performance from these guys.
Dominance coming out from Team Ace. And after how well Tribe did at the start of the game, Ace keeping their composure, keeping control. Clutch plays coming out from Tassa throughout this series. And East Asia is the region to watch out for.
Absolutely. The 2 Dragon plays absolutely costing Tribe. First at the Ghost Wing, Tassa getting over the wall, stealing it away, and then setting up a few more kills. And then at the questionable Black Ghost Claw. You got me questioning now what they are. The questionable Ghost Claw play from Tribe, starting it up without having everyone at full health and knowing that there's 4 members with big ultimates still available. I don't agree with their decision to start up that objective, and it absolutely hurt them.
All right, well, that is going to be about it from this first series. I'm going to kick it over to our analyst Des to break that one down.
Thank you very much, Munch. And how about that first series over? And it looks like Tribe Gaming had the answer in their hands. Early couple kills, but it got all turned around, didn't it?
It really did. I mean, it felt like as if Ace could hold on, weather the storm, they were going to have a great late game, and that's exactly what happened.
Tribe started out strong. Can't spell Ribbit without Tribe, and they croaked.
Oh, ribbit.
I'm sure spelling isn't your forte there, former player, but that's all right.
Hey, just, you need an extra B, but it still works.
So Flicker got the early lead there for Tribe Gaming. I'm trying to get croaking out of my head right now. And then, like what you said, they weathered the storm. It looked like things were going so well for Tribe for quite some time. Then the big fight at Ghost Wing turned it around. It was a big clear for Tribe, but then the steal coming from Tassa slowed things down. We actually have an interview first with Lucy May. Lucy, take it away from your victor.
Thanks, everyone. I'm here with Tassa from the winning team Ace. My goodness, you guys got your revenge. How does it feel?
그 복수했잖아요. 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시는지?
우선은 일단 트라이브한테 저희가 월드 챔피언십에서 졌잖아요. 그걸 계기로 트라이브를 잡으려고 열심히 노력했고 그 연습의 결과가 아직은 끝나진 않았지만은 이제 첫 번째 경기에서 트라이브를 깔끔하게 2대0으로 잡고 올라가서 굉장히 기분이 좋습니다.
So they lost to Tribe last year World Championship. So they're actually very excited. They elated that they won the Tribe 2-0. The first round. I mean, it's not over yet, but they're really elated, like pretty elated right now.
Yeah, that's a fantastic start to the day for sure. You guys did a fantastic team wipe there near the end. What was going on in your mind at that very moment?
뭐라지 지금 어때 그 경기할 때 어땠고 또 지금 어떤지
느낌?
네.
일단은 저희가 이번 대회를 준비하면서 되게 자신감이 있었고 이번 패치로 들어왔을 때 질 것 같지 않은 느낌이 들었었기 때문에 사실 아직은 끝난 건 아니지만은 그냥 이길 것 같았어요. 너무 마음이 편했습니다. 이기고 나서.
Okay. They're very competent and ready for this, match against the Tribe. So they're feeling pretty, good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see. We're all smiles down here. Fantastic game. Well played. Let's kick it back up to the analyst desk with Daniel.
Thank you, Lucy May. And like the de facto finals here, a lot of guys thought that this could have been a finals matchup, a replay of last year's finals. Ace taking the victory, and Tribe Gaming going to get knocked down to the lower bracket as we pull that up on your screen. So Ace now in the winner's side of the bracket. Tribe has to fight their way through 1, 2, 3 more series if they're going to try to repeat